Alright guys, so this is the Fitbit Charge box. This is the box that it looks like. I just got the simple black one because that's the only one that they had. This is what the box looks like, and this is the thing, like these are the things that we're going to be pretty much testing out for this review. So the the Get Active tracker, the maximizing your workouts, customizing your tracker. We're going to be testing out the battery life. We're also gonna, test out the heart rate and the sleep better measuring tool, and also the part about it syncing wirelessly and keeping connected. So we're gonna be testing that out. I got the small, and the way you're supposed to do it is like measure, if I can get this right, you measure, and you can't even see that. You basically measure your wrist or whatever on this thing. So I do have a small wrist. And yeah, so let's get unboxing. So this is the first time I'm opening up this box, and it basically comes with the Fitbit Charge 2 in here. This looks like kind of like the setup manual, and then what is this? I guess this is the charger. Yeah, charger. And okay, let's see. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like coming right out of the box. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is what it looks like coming right out of the box. It's really nice. Has like a really rubbery kind of feel, like a watch. This is what it looks like, which is And you can change the wrist things or whatever. So it's not like too big of a deal, but you still have to pay extra for those, so. Alright. So let's see here. Ooh, okay. This already. Oh, and there it is. I just pressed it. So it already kind of comes like pre-charged. And now I have to set it up on my iPhone. Okay, so one of the features that's set up is that you're able to kind of tap the Fitbit so that you can scroll through your stats. And so I'm trying to do that, and I hope I can show you guys. Let me like zoom in. So I'm trying to do that, and it's kind of not the best. So like I have to tap it a few times in certain spots, and it looks like it. So they're like, don't press. They're like, you gotta tap. So, right, you gotta pretty much tap kind of like on the time for it to really work. If you tap, you see I'm like tapping and it's not moving. So that little part can be a little bit faulty, but it's not like 100%, it can be probably really annoying if you're trying to like run and, tap at the same time, and it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So depending on like where you tap it on the screen, so that's something to keep in mind. Really cool feature is that it does kind of prompt you when you get text messages. So yeah, that definitely is working. It is vibrating at the same time. So if you are like on a run or something, and let's say you don't hear your phone and you don't feel it, it does kind of give off a little vibration, which is pretty cool. Or maybe if you have your phone on your pocket. So this is kind of how the sensor like looks while it's like on and working. So what I'm going to do is, because it's recommended for you to kind of wear it kind of a little bit loose on your wrist so that it can move. So I'm gonna do that right now. See my screen, this is the Fitbit app that you do have to use with the Fitbit Charge. Like I think it is the app, I'm not sure if they have the website, I'll have to check in. But this is kind of like what it looks like, and these are my stats. And this is my first time ever using a Fitbit, so it's gonna be really like a first impressions and also like a full in-depth whether I like it or not, because I have used a Nike Fuel Band, I've also used a Polar T60 I believe, and also I have the Apple Watch first generation. So I'm gonna pretty much just show you guys like whether or not it's worth it. I'm really trying to use like more of the sleeping kind of side of this tracker, because that's one thing that none of the other trackers that I have do compare with this one. So hopefully that's cool, and I'll let you guys know what I think. All right guys, so here is the Fitbit
I guess, homepage from the iPhone app. So I don't know, I think it's pretty much the same on Android, but anywho. So this is kind of what I really want to go through is the app. The app is actually really, really great. It has a lot of really good data points, which if you're really into the data part about it, this stuff is actually super, super interesting. And I know I'm like a data nerd, so anywho. But the main points that I kind of want to go through are the things that I personally bought the Fitbit for, which the first thing that I'm going to do is talk to you guys about the sleep portion, which is one of the reasons why I even purchased the Fitbit, because that's one of the main key factors that it sets itself apart from any other tracker, is that it does have the sleeping portion. So let's go through this. Now, this is data from this past week. Today is Sunday, so you're gonna see like at the what is this, the top kind of right hand corner, that the S for Sunday is marked with a little badge. Yeah, so pretty much it shows you like if you got the star, you met your goal. And on average, I wanted to get at least 7.5 hours of sleep. That's pretty much what I did for 3 days out of the week. Clearly, there are some days where I did not really get enough sleep, and that's something that I guess, you know, I definitely have to work on. And I wouldn't really have noticed the dramatic drops in data if it wasn't for this app. It even like shows like sleep schedule based on the days, like exactly what times I go to bed and then what times I like kind of like, yeah. So the really cool thing is it shows you, like last week, it tells you kind of like a breakdown by day, how many hours on average you got to sleep. So that's honestly like super cool that it does that. And let's go for one day, like for instance, I got 4 hours and 50 minutes of sleep. Went to bed at 2:14, woke up at 7:13. And then it even tells you like sleep quality, 9 times restless, 9-minute awake / restless. And then you can even learn more, and it takes you to the Fitbit thing. Yeah, but because I have it on airplane mode, we won't be able to look at that. But if I did have internet access, you would be able to sleep. You would be able to see. Now you can even go and edit your goal based on your sleep patterns. And this stuff is actually super cool. It tells you on the bar, like when you're asleep, when you're restless, which is like the change in the colors, like in the light, like a lighter blue, and then asleep, which would be like the darker blue, and then if you're awake, obviously red. So this is like super cool. I personally think it's like super cool that it has that information. It really does give you kind of like a gist of that stuff. So then we can look at another day. Same thing, I actually got 8 hours and 32 minutes of sleep. I did go to bed earlier this day. So as you can see, 1 time awake at the bottom, 9 times restless, 18-minute awake restless. So definitely something I need to work on is sleep, which is a major point. Now, the next thing I want to kind of go through is the heart rate part. And according to this thing, my resting BPM, which is beats per minute, is 65 on average. And that's what it's been for the past 30 days, which is honestly, again, really cool. Now, this part I wasn't able really to check, because one thing I'm not going to deny is that the heart rate part is kind of weird, because if I wear the Fitbit too loose, then the heart rate part can't really track as good as it can. And then it shows like minutes and heart rate. Now, this is really cool because it shows you kind of like fat burning stages in your workouts, and like when you're in fat burning based on like your BPM or whatever. Now, this is not, the heart rate on this thing is not 100% accurate. It will have some flaws. It's probably off by like 10 to 20 beats at the most, but for the most part, it's pretty close. You got to keep in mind that if it's going to get any more accurate, you got to wear a chest strap. That's just, you know, we got to do that. So those parts are cool. Overall, this app makes the device. Like if this app did not exist with the device would be subpar. But the Fitbit app is really what makes the device and the app like completely, like way better than any other like wrist thing that I ever used. Like this is 10 times better honestly than the Nike Fuel Band, because you have all these different things. You can track floors, and if you met your goals for the floors of that week, you can track miles, and it shows you through the week how many miles you walked or how many distance if you run, calories if you burned a certain goal. Like let's say you have a calorie goal that you need to burn, and it shows you all these different things that no other app that I've personally used has done. Now the Apple Watch, which I also do own, has apps, and it kind of has something similar to this, but I feel like the technology is not as advanced as the Fitbit has, and it just doesn't work as seamlessly as the Fitbit. Now, I could be completely wrong, and that this is honestly like personal preference. Some people might like the Apple Watch software and the apps that connect with the Apple Watch more, but I personally think that just the Fitbit just does it a little bit better. It looks very aesthetically pleasing, and it's super easy to understand, which is honestly a plus. Now, it even shows you like if I met my goals through the week, on how active I was for how many minutes I put like in my goals, and it even breaks it down, and it shows you in like little stars how you were active. Now, this is one thing, is that clearly the data is not super amazing. Like, I mean, obviously it's gonna have a few flaws. Like it's not gonna track everything on this little graph. So those are the things. Now, one thing I didn't do was track my water intake, but honestly, like I really wish I would have, because this is super helpful if you are a person who needs to drink a lot more water. It has kind of like already built into the app that thing. Also, you can log in like what you ate today and like calories in versus calories out. Now, I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't use this because I use MYFITNESSPAL, which is a different app. And if you guys would like a breakdown on how I use MYFITNESSPAL, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be glad to make that happen for you guys. But for some reason, I'm not a fan of using like this calorie in, calorie in versus calorie out thing. It just doesn't work for me. But overall, I really liked the Fitbit app and just the watch. Overall, I thought it was really, really good. I really liked the sleeping portion of it for the most part the best. I thought that was the greatest. And I'm not sure if the Fitbit is off, but like it seems like when I have the Fitbit versus when I have the Nike Fuel Band or the Apple Watch, the Fitbit seems to track more steps than any of those other two watches / sport wristbands that I've had. According to the Fitbit, I mean, either that or I'm walking a lot more, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised if my days are a lot longer now, that I am tracking way more steps than any other, than when I was using any other sports band. So overall, the Fitbit is, I mean, what makes it is the app with the wristband. And if you're going to get it, I highly would recommend the Fitbit if you're going to get any other like tracker. Now, if you already have the Apple Watch, it is good. It doesn't really measure your heart rate too much. It's probably around the same, and it's okay. I don't really use the Apple Watch for the sports part of it. I mean, I have used certain parts, like it does like show you goals and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's okay. I use the Apple Watch more for functions like text messages and stuff like that. Now, the Fitbit app does have text messaging components, like it can show you your text, but the screen is way too small for you to even read them. And I showed you guys, it's okay to give you like a preview, but it's not perfect at all. And honestly, I wouldn't recommend it for that. So overall, I was actually pleasantly surprised, and I actually really like this Fitbit Charge 2, and I would recommend it. So if you are in the market for a sports watch, I would personally recommend the Fitbit 2. It is in a pretty good price range. So that's it. That's the review. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Ooh, I'm getting stuck on stuff. I hope you guys liked the review. If you did, don't forget to give the video a huge thumbs up. It does help me out tons. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.